Hello, this is FozRider. Welcome to my review of the BlueSkySea B1M camera system for motorcycles. This is a Dashcam system that comes with forward and reverse 1080p cameras. The main DVR unit, it comes with two 2-meter video extension cables. It comes with the power supply block, instruction manual, a few extra sticky pad 3M mounts. I got the GPS version, so that comes with an extra module. It also has a handlebar push button, which when you push the button takes a photo and also locks the video feed. So ongoing in this review, I'll look at setting it up on my bike, a few cons and a few pros of the system, and then I'll have some footage as well as some captures where you can see license plate numbers and some of the resolution. I assume this video is going to be compressed once it's put up on YouTube, so it's probably not going to be raw footage, but hopefully it gives you an idea of the system and a few of the good and bad things about it.
I'm just going to show you how I've wired the unit up here. I've got the unit here under the rear seat. There's just enough room for it in there. Back in here I also have a CAN bus smart switch which runs my spotlights and my rear skiing lights, as well as an auxiliary horn. I'm getting quite a few wires in here because I've got all that the wiring for the lights, the horn, I've got a cigarette lighter, I've got power to my tank bag, and I have power for a battery tender cable on the other side. So I'm starting to run out of room. The rear extension, the video cable comes into the unit. I didn't have to use the 1 meter long extension cable that comes with the kit. For the front, the video cable, the GPS cable, and the cable for the handlebar switch all run under the bike here, and then under the gas tank, and then up to the various positions at the front of the bike. The power cable I've got coming down here, there's a small brick at the end of about 1 meter of cable, so I've tucked that excess cable in the brick under here, and then I've shortened the rest of the power extension into the Denali power hub, and the red wire, small red wire, goes to constant power supply, yellow wire goes to the switch side. I changed these fuses around to do that, and black to ground. Because of the constant amperage draw from the unit when it's off, I think in the future what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this red wire from constant and put it over on the switch side so that the unit will just shut down and not draw any amps, and I'll see what happens to the last files, whether they're saved properly, or hopefully it won't harm the unit. But unless you have a battery tender to keep your bike on and charged, this unit is going to draw from your battery at 32 milliamps. So if you're leaving it for 5 to 10 days, you're going to have a pretty dead battery. Okay, I'll show you where the cameras are. So the front camera I have mounted here on top of the headlight on a somewhat flat portion using their 3M mount. That way it gives me a good line of sight at the front of the bike. I could attach it to one of the crash bars using a bar mount, but don't have one handy, and I think this is not a bad location. It's not too obvious, and I think the 3M mount should be pretty strong, and again it has the video cable, so it's not going to fly off and go anywhere. The rear camera I have mounted under the luggage rack, again using the 3M mount. Basically just clean the surfaces with isopropyl alcohol and before you mount them, and I think they should be pretty strong. The camera can be adjusted to make sure it's in the right orientation just by loosening the screw at the mount and rotating the camera collar, the camera in the collar, until the arrow on the far side, the back end of the camera, is facing in the right direction, and then you won't have to reverse the video orientation in editing software. So it's pretty easy to do. The GPS module I have mounted on top of the nav cradle, my nav 6, nav 5 cradle. Another flat spot, it's high up on the bike so it gets really good signal. Okay, I'm going to start the unit up here. The first thing to notice here is that dull flashing red light. The bike is off at the moment, the key is off, so the unit is still drawing some power, and I've measured that to be about 32 milliamps. So it does have a parasitic draw. That's something to be concerned about, especially if you don't have a place to plug in your bike or have it on a battery tender, or if you leave it for a few weeks. So I'm going to hit the key here and it'll go through its startup sequence. Okay, the red power light comes on, far side. The unit beeps. A few signals show up. The first green-blue LED here indicates that the Wi-Fi function is working. The second LED light over indicates that there's a third LED light, indicates the GPS reception is normal. So even in the garage here it's getting a GPS signal. The fourth light over indicates the cameras are connected and the video signal is okay. And the fifth light indicates that the camera is either in recording mode or in preview mode. So it's blinking and it's recording. So I'll now turn the bike off again and you'll see it shut down. So the key is off. Takes a while for the CAN bus system to shut down. It then starts writing its files and then shuts itself off. Okay, I'm going to go through the app here. First of all, you have to connect your Wi-Fi to the BlueSkySea unit. I've already entered the password in this one, which is just the basic standard password. Okay, once it's connected, you can then go to the B1M app, enter the camera. Connecting, it finds it. So it is recording. Gives you the rear view and the front view. You can switch them around just to front screen, back screen, pictures of my garage, front, back and front, usually how you would have it. In the settings, it stops the recording. You can set loop recording for 1, 3, or 5 minutes. You can set wide dynamic range, the exposure values, audio recording on or off, the G-sensor sensitivity for when you have a crash. Hopefully you don't. It'll lock the recording. Your time zone, speed units in kilometers or miles per hour, format the card, change the password, Wi-Fi password, and it gives you the firmware version. Okay, so you can start recording again from the app if you want to. Then I'll go to the handlebar unit. So here's the unit on the handlebar next to my clutch hand. I have this bit of foam wrapped around the microphone. When I was out on the bike last time, there was a fair bit of wind noise that came through. So I'm hoping to cut that down a bit. We'll see if this works effectively or not. So when you're recording and you're on your bike, if you want to capture a photo or capture looped video, you basically press this button. You'll hear the unit beep. If it's under the seat, you're probably not going to hear it, but it captures a photo that's 1960 by 1000 pixels, and then it captures the recording in however you've got this loop set up. I've got it set up for 3 minutes, so it locks that 3-minute recording. So both of those are pretty handy. Often when I've been riding around, I've wanted to take a picture and I've been fiddling around with the GoPro trying to get it to do that with my gloved hands, and found it was next to impossible. And often when you're out on the bike and you don't know what's coming up, you don't have a battery for your GoPro, you've already used your 45 minutes or whatever, this unit's going to be pretty good just to capture video as it occurs. So very handy little function for these units. It captures both the forward and the back camera video recording and pictures. One thing I forgot to mention was why I have this plastic bag on the unit. Basically the unit, they say the DVR is not waterproof. The front and back cameras are. And as you can see here, on the side are ports for the SD card and for a USB interface for it, for charging if you want to have it stand alone. The unit's otherwise fairly well sealed, but because they say it's not waterproof, I thought I would try putting this Ziploc bag around it, and eventually what I'll do is I'll use these collars and I'll seal the wires in with silicone and close the bag up, and hopefully if I dump the bike in a stream crossing, that'll give me a couple minutes of time to write it up, and hopefully it won't destroy the unit. I think that'll be an adequate protection for it for a little while. The INOV unit apparently they say is waterproof, but again it has these same ports, and from what I've read, it probably isn't 100% waterproof either. I think they're coming out with a new one which is well sealed. However, this unit cost for the front and rear camera, the B1M, cost me $187 Canadian, which works out to about $130 US. The INOV unit, which is fairly equivalent, is over $400. I think on Amazon you can buy this without the GPS for about $200, $212. I bought it direct from AliExpress with the GPS unit, and it was $187, and it was shipped in about a month. It took about 4 weeks to get here. So for half the price, I think it's a pretty good unit, but we'll find out. I'm going to do some more testing tomorrow when I go on a ride. It's pouring down rain today, so not a great day to ride. And I'll then show you what the video looks like that comes off the cameras. out the audio recording. So the bike is still running. I just put my visor up and we'll see if the B1M can actually make out what I am saying. It's a bit of a windy day, about 40 km/h breeze.
So the purpose of this video is just to go out on a gravel road and to find a place where I'd like to take a picture and just to see what that result looked like. One of the main functions I think I'll have for this unit is trail riding and taking pictures when it's convenient, just using the handlebar button. So I wanted to see how that would turn out. And the resulting picture is coming up here shortly. That's video. There, this is the stop picture.
Hi, I thought it would be a good idea to summarize what I thought about this camera unit and some of the reasons I would buy it and some of the cons about the unit. The main reason I would get one of these Dashcam videos is because you have always on footage. You're not going to miss video due to drained batteries or trying to fiddle with your camera controls with your gloved hands on your helmet. A number of times I've had some footage or times that I would really have liked to have had video, but I ran out of batteries. I went through 2 battery packs, and then we got into this huge thunderstorm with my wife on the back of the bike, and when we were in Austria, I had to get off the highway. I was at the side of the road. I could hardly keep the bike up because my knees were giving out. The wind was that bad, and we just got pelted on by rain and some hail. And this barn door flew open, and an Austrian farmer came around in his tractor and somehow jammed his tractor into the doors and then waved us into the to the barn for shelter. And we had a great conversation with him and his son. If I had got all that on video, it would have been amazing. So one of those things, it just didn't happen. But if I had this unit and it had been running, we would have captured it. And the other thing that's really great is easy picture taking with the handlebar control unit. a lot of times on the trail, I'm out there and I want to take a picture, and I've been, trying to hammer the button on my GoPro, and it just doesn't work most of the time. So just reaching down and hitting the button on the handlebar to take a picture, even though it's not great resolution, is better than nothing. So those are the main reasons that I would get this unit. A lot of people get it because it's dash cam footage for near misses and for accidents and that kind of thing. I haven't had that many near misses, so it's not an essential thing for me, but it does give you forward camera and rear camera views, and you can read license plate numbers. So if someone's turning left in front of you here in North America, or right in front of you in Australia or in the UK, you would get their information, and you would be able to do something about it perhaps. The other great thing about this unit is it's half the cost of some other similar units. So for less than $200 Canadian is what I got this unit for. It's about $130 some odd US, so very good value. And we'll see what happens in the future. Anyways, the cons, it's not GoPro audio quality, but it's decent quality. So it's probably not for video production or for doing video blogging, if that's what you're into. But again, you could get some video that you probably wouldn't get if you were not staging stuff on your bike. The other con is battery drain. So I now have all the wires hooked up to switched power in my bike, so it doesn't drain the battery, because it does have a draw of 32 milliamps. So that's something to be concerned about. It's something you want to watch. Yeah, the other thing is I've sent an SD file of the videos away to the Dashcam viewer support people. So I assume in the near future they're going to look at it, and we should be able to get the GPS data and the map function of their application for Dashcam Viewer, which is a pretty good piece of software. That should be enabled without too much difficulty, I think, in the future. I've emailed and had PMs with the support for the BlueSkySea people, and they've been very good. They actually updated the firmware for me, sent it to me the next day, and had it load into one of their DV players, their Dashcam applications. So they're quite responsive, and they're looking at the battery drain issues as well. So their support seems pretty darn good. So I would recommend them for that as well. They get back to you, and they seem to be wanting to keep this unit going forward. So those are my impressions. I'm pretty happy with the unit. I would recommend it, especially if you get it at a good deal. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this informative. The reason I did this review was because some of the other ones up there didn't have some of the information I was looking for. So this one is more specific for what I was looking in Dashcam system. So hopefully you found it informative. Thanks for watching, and make any comments below or any questions below this YouTube video, and I'll try and answer them or get some answers for you. Okay, thank you.